What an interesting topic we have brought for you today. I have Nida Huda in the studio with me, and we are going to be talking about early childhood education. We're going to be talking about motherhood. We're going to be talking about life as women and balance, and so much more. So excited about this show. Welcome, Nida, to the studios.
Thank you, Aisha.
For our audience, Nida began her journey in education at just 19. Then life happened, as we all know, marriage and kids. But she did go back, and she did her MBA. And she got her bachelor's in education, right?
Yes, yes. I
Okay.
did my MBA and then again another bachelor's
So you did
of
your MBA and then another
I did
bachelor's.
my bachelor's of education first and then master's, bachelor's of business first, BBA first, and then MBA,
Ah.
and then BA.
Okay. And since then, she's been involved in education, early childhood classrooms. She's been involved in training teachers and running her own education consultancy. Today, she supports school owners, she trains staff, she supports parents, and she has a mission to raise the standard of education. Remember what I was saying just a little while ago? It's one person at a time. One person at a time can make a difference. And Nida believes that the way to elevate quality of life is through education. So today we're going to find out why this is so. So excited to have you here.
Thank you so much, Aisha. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here too. Thank you.
Great, great. And we talk about this all the time, about this 0 to 7 programming, and the whole basis of our adult relationships are based on that 0 to 7 programming. And unfortunately, we as parents don't understand this, and we as human beings don't understand this going through it. But let's start at the beginning. So tell us a little bit about what do we mean by early childhood.
So, Aisha, as the name suggests, this is early childhood education, right? It is the earliest stage of a child. So, early childhood, according to the research, it starts from birth to 8. We normally see from birth, like that, from the day when the child is born. From there to the age of 6, as after 6, many of the families decide to start their formal schooling. But before that, birth to 6, why is this bracket so important? And that is known as early childhood development and early childhood education. Let me tell you this formal, because I have an educator background, so I came up with a formal definition. It says that this is the formal and informal teaching that you provide to young children from the age of 0 to the age of 8, focusing on their physical, cognitive, social, and emotional development. So you are actually developing a child holistically,
Mm-hmm.
focusing on their physical, cognitive, social, and emotional development.
Mm-hmm.
Physical, as the name suggests, that
Right.
how caregivers help them develop physically, taking to their doctors and feeding them the right food and sleep patterns and all. Cognitive, how you help them develop mentally.
Mm-hmm.
So what areas are you touching? Are you reading books? Are you doing all the stuff that are required for them to be mentally present in certain situations? Socially, we know how you help them develop socially, that go say hi to this friend, or that's how you talk to these people when you are in a certain situation or in a certain circumstances.
Or learn to share.
Yeah, that's a big part of social development, how they behave when they are with their peers, and also when how they behave when they are with their extended families.
Mm-hmm.
And the best part that I focus the most is emotional development, that we as moms are still learning how to develop ourselves emotionally, and then at the same time we need to focus on our children, how to help them develop emotionally. This is a
And
big part.
do you feel, as parents, and especially as Desi parents, we have an idea about all these four different aspects of our child's development?
Well, we all are learning, and I believe that learning should never stop. So as long as you are raising your children, you are also raising yourself.
Hmm.
So when I became a parent like 13 years back, I did not know what is all this. I learned as the time came, and I learned to know that, oh, cognitive, oh. So, that's how you learn, that's how you teach yourself while teaching your kids at the same time.
Right. And unfortunately, kids they're not born with a manual.
True, and so does mothers, right?
Yes.
There's
Yes.
no parenting manual, there's no motherhood manual. You learn, you make errors, and you get up, you learn again.
You learn on the job.
Yes.
And sometimes it's too late when you realize that, oh,
Oh,
what have I done?
yeah.
But it's that's just how it is. It's interesting. I was hearing a little clip the other day, and there was this psychologist who was saying that siblings are not given the same environment, or they're not brought up in the same environment, because everything is different. Like birth order is different, they're influenced by gender, they're influenced by the newness of parenthood. Like
Oh, yeah.
you interact with your first child so differently, and you interact with your second and third and fourth and so on, children so differently, right?
True.
So each child actually almost gets a different parent.
Exactly. I think each child gets a new version of
The
the
same
mother.
parent.
Yes, that's a new version because you have learned, unlearned, and then relearned.
Yeah.
You are like reborn.
Yeah, true. Acha, Nida, हमारे in our culture, there's a saying that अरे बच्चे को क्या पता.
Hmm.
So what can you say about this?
So वैसे बच्चे को सब पता है. So kids feed off of our energy
Mhm.
completely. If the mom or the caregiver who's holding the child is anxious, the child would feel it. And sometimes when there are big days, maybe a wedding in the family, and you have a 3-month-old in your hand, and then you say, वैसे तो तंग नहीं करता पर आज पता नहीं क्या हो गया है. पर जब कोई important day आता है तभी ये बच्चा मुझे इतना परेशान करता है. That's because you are anxious because of your important day. And
Hmm.
that's why the child is taking in your energy because you're holding the child,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So it बच्चे को सब पता है. Whether you give them the words or you don't give them the words, they feed off of our energy.
Interesting.
So that's the reason I say that slowing down, being calm and composed with your kids is so important.
Mhm.
It is so important. But again, what about if I am going through this? How can I feel calm and composed at the same time? It's work. It's an everyday work.
Yes, absolutely. We also feel that early childhood education is the responsibility of the school,
Hmm.
right? So tell me a little bit about what that balance should be in terms of schooling versus home.
So early childhood education, I take early childhood education as the responsibility of the environment that you create. Now remember, the environment should have physical development, cognitive development, social and emotional development, whatever the environment provides. If you decide as a family to go to a school that provides all the environment, then that is fine. That's the environment of the school.
Mhm.
But at the same time, you also need to create the same environment at home for the child to develop holistically, right? So, are you providing the opportunities for them to grow emotionally? Are you providing the opportunities for them to fail so that they fail, they get up, and they learn again in your supervision? They fail in a safe environment. For example, I had this family who came to me. They were raising a toddler, and you know how independent these toddlers think they are. So this child wanted to carry a glass of water,
Mhm.
and mom would not let the child carry a glass of water because the child would spill
Hmm.
the water, and then that's the mom's job to clean
Clean.
the mess. That was in mom's head. But carrying that glass of water was so important for that child's independence. If he would have failed, that was a safe environment for him to fail. Let him fail, let him learn, let him clean. You clean later on, you do your perfection later on.
Okay.
But that's the safe environment for the child to learn and grow. That's how you are helping them grow independently, have some freedom in the safe environment. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I have seen these families homeschooling their children within providing, all the areas of learning.
Hmm.
It can also be schooling, it can also be your home. It's the environment that you provide.
What do you think about homeschooling versus schooling in a, a regular school?
When we talk about schools here in Texas, what I have seen that schools are more has taken a different meaning now. It is more of daycares when they call themselves Montessori schools, but they don't have the credentials
Hmm.
to have a Montessori curriculum inside. So they are not providing the same value you are paying for.
Hmm.
There are many different school of thoughts. So if you really want to get your child into the right school, make sure you do your right research. If the schools have those accreditation, if the schools have those trained teachers, then you're at the right place. But other than that, if you move ahead and any daycare that is calling themselves a Montessori school, then make sure your child would not get all the things that you are paying for or you're looking for.
Hmm.
Instead, if you decide to go for homeschooling, make sure you have the same credentials or you have the same equipment with you. Imagine a child entering in an environment has nothing in the environment. What is the child going to learn?
Interesting.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Maria Montessori, let me tell you, Maria Montessori says that environment is not only the physical environment. The
Hmm.
teacher is also the part of the environment. So if you are the teacher, are you prepared? Are you calm? Are you ready to teach? And are you ready to learn from the child? Because you are also the environment. Your
Hmm.
peace is also the environment.
Hmm.
So it depends on family to family whether you choose homeschooling or whether you choose regular schooling. Are they providing the same environment to the child?
Got it. Good point. Good point. So, Nida, what are the most important skills that children develop in the first 5 years, let's say?
I would take independence and freedom as the base point
Hmm.
that children develop. For example, starting from um, toddlers,
Hmm.
they should be wearing their own socks, they should be wearing their own shoes, they would learn how to put their own jackets on. Sometimes we as caregivers, we don't have enough time and patience for those little ones to have their jackets on themselves. So we just rush them.
Hmm.
And that's how they learn, that's how they learn. Oh, we put the jacket on in a rushing manner. Later on they do it the same way and they end up having a failed moment later on when they're old enough. So give them more time and have them some patience to do their chores by themselves, maybe hanging their shirts by themselves,
Hmm.
putting their shoes away. These are the basic things. Now, toddler is a big age bracket. For preschoolers are a big age bracket. When we talk about preschoolers, they are from after when they are potty trained, 2.5 to 3. Every child is different, so I cannot fix it that 3-year-old should be potty trained or 2.5 should be
Hmm.
potty trained. Every child is different. Some learn early in life and some learn later in life. So you decide if you have a preschooler from the age of 2.5 to 5.5 or 6. Are they independent? Are they playing on their own? Do they need company all the time? Or do they require some independence that, oh, I need my peace time? We used to call it peace corner in the classrooms. That, when you're overwhelmed, when you're excited and you are not able to manage your emotions, go manage your emotions.
Hmm.
Peace corner. Peace corner will
Hmm.
help you manage your emotions.
Really?
Yeah. I started the same thing as, my daughters have always been the guinea pigs. So we had a peace corner at home as well.
Did you send your husband to the Peace Corner too?
Well, we had our peace corners, our peace moments.
Okay.
So yeah, peace corners should, would have the things that provide you peace.
Hmm.
I used to have a chair, a little wooden chair for my daughter, and a little tasbih hanging on the wall. Had a few books or sensory bottles or maybe a squishy
Hmm.
toy or something like that for myself when I need peace. So I would go and, put a face mask on,
Mm.
right? So that I don't have my screen in front of me all the time.
Yeah.
When I ask for peace, maybe I need just quiet and stillness.
Mm.
For everybody, peace looks different.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay. Nida, what role does play have in shaping a child's behavior and brain?
That's such a great question. Play. Now there are two types of play: structured and unstructured.
Hmm.
When we talk about play, there are some safety measures involved in the play that are structured play. That your child is playing within this room and there's nothing that can harm your child. For example, open sockets.
Hmm.
For example, wooden stairs, and if your child cannot climb up there, that's you cannot leave your child unsupervised.
Hmm.
They need to be supervised. These are the little measures. Again, this is the environment that you create for your child when they are playing. There are times when you leave your child at the park, and that is out of your control. You cannot put safety measures there, but the park authorities have put in those safety measures. So those play is where when the child is just open in the wild and run around and scream and do whatever childlike things that they want. So both the plays are important, both everything, but make sure as a parent, as a caregiver, you know that your child is in a safe environment and you always have your eyes on your child.
Mm. Okay. And how do you think, what would you recommend that how can parents build confidence at an early age?
Listening to your child. Listening. See, now agreeing and disagreeing is a different topic here.
Mm.
I'm just talking about listening to your child. Listening to a child needs patience.
Absolutely.
Right? They utter words, they say the same words over and over and over.
Hmm.
And if you are looking at the time that, oh, कब सेंटेंस खत्म होगा और कब मैं चाय पीऊंगी, तो ये तो फिर you are not paying attention, you are not mindful to the child.
And they pick up on all these cues.
Everything.
They're very smart.
Everything. And I learned all this while I was in my early years of parenting.
Mm.
So my kids were in their early years of development and I was in my early years of motherhood.
Hmm.
That's how I learned. And being in the classroom with all the children and work and experience taught me that this is so important for us to listen to the children what they are saying, having patience, and that's how they feel that they are important, and
Hmm.
that's how they build confidence in
Right.
themselves, that they are being heard. At least they won't fight the battle that we as women are fighting now, that my voice was never heard.
Mm.
They don't, that challenge is gone in their life because we are just listening to them.
Okay. One of the biggest successes or predictors of success in an adult relationship is secure attachment as a child. Talk to me a little bit about that. How do you build that security and a secure attachment if you are a child?
So what I have seen in many families, even growing up and experiencing it with my families, that when you are leaving, don't tell your child,
Hmm.
right?
छुप के
And
निकल जाओ.
छुप के निकल जाओ. तो बच्चा जब टर्न हो रहा है, वो देख रहा है उसकी the mom was right there but now she's not. So how is the child going to trust the mom next time?
Mm-hmm.
Because he knows that when I turn, she disappears. So according to me, and the research also says that prepare your child for your next move.
Mm-hmm.
Prepare your child so that there's nothing unexpectedly disastrous that is coming to him. For a little child, mom disappears is big. It's
Hmm.
traumatic.
Yeah.
Imagine a child is at a park or in a birthday party and mom disappeared. This is so hard for the child to accept, and he would always, the child would always cling to you, hold your hand so hard,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe ask you to carry them, because I know the mom is going to disappear. So that's how trust is built. When you prepare the child for your next move, that listen, I need to go use the restroom, okay?
Mm.
Make sure you are sitting here and I'll be back. And why don't you do this or that while I do this and that? Prepare them. Take it on board. Take them on board. That they are your teammates. They are your partners. I know it is hard. I understand that it's not like taking permission from a child that I need to go to the restroom and now I need to ask him. No, you're not asking him. You're just taking the child on board.
Mm-hmm.
That this is my plan. Make sure you are with me.
Mm-hmm.
Because your child is just, it's been like 3 years. The child is in the world. He only knows you, he only trusts you. So take them on board. It will be easier later on, trust me.
That's such an important point, actually. What are some signs that a child might need some extra developmental support?
Research also mentions that there are so many kids who are on the spectrum. We talk about ADHD, we talk about autism. What I have seen in my experience, that in toddlers and in preschoolers, these are the growth patterns too.
Mm-hmm.
It can be mistaken, the growth pattern can be mistaken as, oh, is my child autistic? But that can be the growth pattern,
Mm-hmm.
because they utter words, they keep repeating, because that's the growth pattern. That's how they are developed physically. That's how the language is developed, when they repeat.
Yeah.
But later on, when they repeat, that is one of the areas of autism. Make sure you are always on board with your doctors. But what I have seen in my experience, it is too early to diagnose a child when they are in their toddler stage with any of the special needs.
Mm-hmm.
Also, language development caters to all of these needs. You'll hear your kids speaking differently when they have some speech issues. So these are the areas for you to cater, and ask the school teachers that have they also been noticed, they have also been noticing these changes, that my child has not been speaking. For example, I have seen children that is hard for them to say j, say z.
Mm.
Instead of z, they say j. These are the speech patterns that teachers or the caregivers can guide you better on, but the doctors are the right ones, speech therapists are the right one to cater this need.
So should you be talking to your children, especially जो हमारे कल्चर में होते हैं ना, हम कहते हैं कि अच्छा नहीं, बच्चे को उर्दू की एक्सपोजर होनी
Hmm.
चाहिए. So should you be talking to them in these two different languages, English and Urdu or Hindi, or should you just focus on exclusively Urdu or Hindi, and then the child will just pick up English as when they go to school?
Um, you know, Again, I would recommend this book, The Absorbent Mind,
Mm-hmm.
which talks about how the brain of the child is like a sponge.
Yeah.
Whatever you give them, they just absorb.
Mm-hmm.
They keep absorbing it until the age of 6
Okay.
or 8, and they start releasing it later on. You know how the sponge takes all the water and then it
Yeah.
starts releasing. Um, as long as you can expose the child to many languages, do that. Do that. There's
Mm-hmm.
no harm in having your child learn as much as they can. Imagine what harm will learning provide?
Mm.
No harm. So I have seen kids having 4 languages by the age of 4. They can speak Urdu, they can speak Spanish, English, Gujarati. And these kids work fine academically as well.
Mm.
And they still have 2-3 more years of being a sponge at a sponge stage.
Wow.
There's no harm in teaching them more languages.
All right, we were getting a call. You can give us a call back, 972-501-9390. If you have any questions for Nida, that is the number to call, 972-501-9390. All right, Nida, we touched upon this when we did our introduction. We and this next segment deals with the mom's mental and emotional load that she carries. So we usually hear the word caregivers. So what does that mean? Who are caregivers? And we'll talk about that. Let's take a caller. Radio Azad, you're on the air.
जी आयशा and Nida, Assalamu alaikum.
Islam.
Uh, parenthood is such a big responsibility. I would say that it doesn't come with the instruction guide or manual. So it is, I would say, that trial and error period of every parent that every child has to go through certain kinds of environments. And I would like to ask you, those mothers who are control freak and who have this traumatized or some kind of a controlled childhood, do they carry the same with the children as they were raised? And why they can't come out of it and realize in this age where so many courses are there, so many other things are there to change ourselves and our mindset even to raise a child where they will be the normal, citizens of the society. But it is, I've seen not only in our culture, but in American also, where single mom or divorced parents or separated, the kids are the targeted, objects of their life. So they suffer the most.
Great. Thank you,
Thank you.
Shanazji, for your question.
This is such an amazing question, and I have dealt with, and I have also experienced. The time when you were raised, the times were different, and
Mm.
now when you are raising your kids, the time is different. But imagine, human being is given this opportunity to change themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So we can always learn and change ourselves step by step, step by step. You just need to know that this is something that I have gone through in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want this trauma to be in my generation. Take it step by step. I completely empathize with those moms who were raised in those controlled environments, and now they are watching every move of the child, which is not helping the child be independent.
Mm-hmm.
What I did in my early parenthood, I started reading. And now, because when I was raising 13 years back, there was not a trend of this podcast and all.
Mm-hmm.
But today, we have so much of these short clips and how to change yourself, how to make your mornings beautiful before your child wakes up. So, whenever you work on yourself, trust me, you are working on your child, because you are working on yourself, and your calm mind is going to help your child be the calm soul. So no parent is perfect, and we cannot do everything for the child, but we can do something for ourselves so that we can transfer the same peace to our child. Change is very important.
I love that. You give yourself that space, and then
Absolutely.
you can create that environment, the right
Yes.
environment for your own child. अगर एक माँ खुद इतनी हैरिड और स्ट्रेस्ड आउट है तो वो सब ट्रांसफर हो जाता है बच्चे के ऊपर.
ट्रू। हम यही चाहते हैं कि हम इनका कर लें, इनका काम हो जाए, उनका काम हो जाए, सबके काम हो जाएँ, लेकिन हमें सुबह की चाय नहीं मिली अब तक।
Hmm.
So whatever you are doing is not fully, it's not coming from your heart. It's just a checklist, and you
Hmm.
are just ticking mark.
Mhm.
So yeah, let's work on ourselves first. Let's do something for ourselves. Maybe just sitting and having a cup of tea, that's the thing that you need in the morning, and then you're ready to go on the battlefield.
All right. So going back to a question about caregivers, who are caregivers and what is the role of a caregiver?
Caregivers are the ones who are invested in the children.
Mhm.
So, and it doesn't come with the title.
Okay.
So I know in our community, in our society, moms are the basic caregivers, but we have seen single moms, we have seen single dads, we have seen parent kids
Mhm.
from one household to the other household, we have seen grandparents. So it does not always come with the title. A nanny can be a caregiver as well, a school teacher can be the caregiver as well.
Mhm.
In our society, what we have seen, moms are the basic, 80%, or maybe you may have the right data, but they are the basic caregivers who are invested in the children, completely invested in, again, in their physical, cognitive, social, and emotional health. Those are the caregivers who provide the same environment, the right environment to the child.
Okay, and it can be any one of these, and it's a partnership,
It's a
right?
partnership, absolutely, absolutely. Sometimes I have seen families saying that me and my husband are not on board. Me and my husband are not on the same page. His
Mm.
parenting style is different, and my parenting style is different.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the creativity. You get all the parenting styles
Actually,
together.
that's a very good point, and we'll go to that. Let's take a caller. Radio Azad, you're on the air.
Assalamu alaikum and hello Aisha and Nida. What a great program and how useful this is
Thank
for
you.
Thank
all
you.
parents, grandparents, and everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, how do you convey to, if the father is from Pakistani background or Desi background and the mother is American, Caucasian American, and they have kids, all girls, how do you convey to those parents, and you have been observing, they are very close to you, and how do you convey to the parents that biculturalism or cultural fusion is good for the children? Like you talked about language, I'm also talking about dressing, like for example, beautiful girls dressing up in swimsuits and all, but how do you convey to them that a little bit covering is good? If it is okay, I mean, uh, uh, it has to be put in such a way that it doesn't come that you are trying to criticize them or conveying things that they don't want to hear. So, for example, you have seen them celebrating Christmas, but they have no idea of Eid and all.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how do you convey to them that fusion of two cultures is good? Not following it 100% and all, but way of dressing, both languages or two or three languages are good, and still maintain the friendship and love and bond which you get from them. This is
Such
my
a
question. If it is okay with you all, I'll look forward to the answer. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
such a great question.
I would say there are always defined rules and boundaries
Mm-hmm.
within the families,
Mm-hmm.
that when you mix cultures, there is such a great variety for the children to grow in. But there are always positive and negatives in each culture. Now, the parents decide what they want to keep and what they want to let go. It is on them. And when I, as a third person, would like to tell them, I would always go and tell, well, I was raised this way, what I feel for me, if I had a daughter who would do this and that, I would tell her this. But again, I would say that maintaining relationship is more important. So if somebody wants someone to change, well, they can tell their perspective or their side of the story. You cannot force anybody to change based on your beliefs and your ideas. But yes, it's always a great idea to tell them what you feel is
Mm-hmm.
right, and how can they help you understand that what they are doing is right.
Mm-hmm.
Help me understand that why is it right for you.
Hmm. Okay. Interesting. And you're right that, ultimately it is the relationship. So if
Yeah.
it is going to affect the relationship,
Yes.
then you got to back down.
Nothing at the cost of relationships. When we talk about
Mm-hmm.
families, when we talk about kids, nothing at the cost of relationships, if
Mm-hmm.
that is not toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And maintaining that balance actually between two cultures is extremely important and extremely difficult. And there is no right or wrong answer.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing right or wrong. Even when I say that, there's big diversity, it is hard for us. But later on, you see the colors of the other culture as well, and then you decide if with an open mind that, oh, I wish I was raised like this.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know.
Hmm.
Good to know this about your culture. And let's practice this.
Yeah. Okay. Nida, what do kids model from each parent?
Do we have time?
In a nutshell.
Well, the more you to the child, children would listen, but they would do what you do.
Mhm.
So if the child, you want to speak slowly and you are rushing, if you want your to speak in a lower volume but you are loud, well, no, this is not.
Mhm.
The child is going to be loud. The child will be rushing later on. So you are the first model of your child.
Mhm.
Make sure the end product that you want to see, make sure you are the one who's behaving as the end product.
Mhm.
So if you want your child to pick up their trash, make sure you do that. And if you want your child to sit peacefully when they are overwhelmed, make sure you do that. When you are overwhelmed, make sure you tell your child, oh, this was a very hard day for me. I would like to sit and have a glass of water. Would you please give me 5 minutes? And your child sees you taking the glass of water and sitting in a chair, deep breathing, and sitting quietly. Next time, when your child has a stressful day, they are going to do the same. But you need to keep modeling it over and over. Whatever the end product, you be the process.
Hmm. Absolutely. Well said. Well said. Okay. What are some healthy ways to deal with burnout in early motherhood?
Early motherhood comes with a lot of challenges. I would speak from my experience. I did not know that first of all, I did not know that time what postpartum was. I did not know what burnout was.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this is the way it is. Everyone goes through this, so I am going through this, but I had no answers when it is going to stop. And then later in life, I learned that, oh, I'm the one who can stop it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
It's everything is in my control. Early motherhood, I think three things that I would always talk about is mind, body, and soul. How you feed your mind, body, and soul to keep yourself calm. I'm not talking about take 2 hours of Pilates. I'm not talking about, sitting and reading a book for an hour or so, because in early motherhood, you don't get the chance. You barely get the chance to sleep. So make sure whenever you have some peaceful time, deep breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Have some breathing techniques in hand so that if you're sitting in the car or your child is, you're burping your child or whatever the chores are, maybe you're cooking, make sure you're deep breathing. That gives oxygen to your brain and your body calms down.
Mm-hmm.
Again, exercising, we know exercising has been beautiful for a woman, and especially after the age of 35 and 40, you need to build your muscles. You need to have some sort of strength training so that you can keep having that dopamine hit with your emotions and you don't fall depressed or whatever you're going through with your life challenges. That we talked about. Body, for soul, whatever works for your soul. Meditation works, do meditation. 5 time prayers, 3 time prayers, whatever you do for your soul, make sure your soul's cup is full. Make sure whatever comes positive to you for your soul.
Mm-hmm.
And for mind is again the podcast and reading and learning, keep reading.
All right. Let's take a caller. Radio Azad, you're on the air.
Yeah, Nida, I have a question. How
Sure.
can we parents be friendly or behave like a friend to a child without being a dictator and try to impose things? So, how can we convince kids and uh, set the rules and regulations for the environment and be at the same time very friendly, open, and discuss their inner questions and problems? How can we do that in a very easy way?
All
Not easy
right.
way, but very convenient that all parents can, follow that.
All right. Thank you.
Well, I am going through this right now because I am raising a teenager. So, again, whatever we do in early childhood, we listen. So, we need to be listening. to the child so that they think that, oh, you are listening and you are not judging and you are not giving any solutions.
Mm.
What we try to do is we try to give solutions. Oh, that's the problem. This is the solution. Done. What the child wants right now is just listen to me, listen to my problem, empathize. And when you empathize, when you listen, they feel that they are being heard. You already built that connection. The child would think that, oh yeah, my mom is listening. If that's a younger child,
Mhm.
they also want you to listen. Listening is a talent. That's a skill. You build it. If you don't have it, you build it by practicing it. What I used to do was when my daughter would come to me and I am rushed, I would sit with my mouth tight closed. And I'm not going to speak anything. I'm just going to
Listen.
listen. And they are so smart, they would come up with their own solutions. Whatever solution you have in mind, they have the same solution, but they just want you to listen and have that connection with you.
A lot of times, I feel parents don't know how to talk to their children. They talk down to their children or they talk at the children, but like you're saying, they don't build that connection. How do they do that?
Well, the first thing again is the awareness that you have been doing it. If you think that you're right, then there's no question.
Mm-hmm.
But if you know that you have been doing it and I have been talking down and this is spoiling my daughter's self-esteem, then that's the first step. You have taken the first step. You are aware. Now, next time when your daughter comes to you, make sure you're listening. That's the second step. And you are not posing the parenting styles that you have been raised with. You are doing something different. And I also would recommend a few books. Conscious Parenting is one of the book
Mm-hmm.
that teaches us that how to deal with certain age groups. That is mostly about girls, but I'm sure there are a lot of books that talks about how to deal with it. Positive Discipline by Jane Nelson, that also talks about behavioral issues in early childhood. You read and it has a lot of scenarios that you might have gone through already, and it teaches you what's the power of consequences,
Mm-hmm.
what's the power of safe failures in a child's life, and how can parent help them, give them opportunities to experience those.
Interesting. Good references. Nida, I'm sure you've seen this through your years in being in this field, and that is the advent and the impact of screen time, the
Oh
iPad
man.
generation. What kind of damage are we doing?
Screens is the language now. That's the language. I would say that how many barriers are we going to put for the child in order to not have the screen? Awareness is very important for the child to know that screen is damaging my brain. Until they have this in their heart that, oh, screen time is damaging my brain, I need to stop using it. Ultimately, as a parent, you want your child to make that decision, right? You don't want to be making those decisions every time for your child. You don't want to be making those decisions for your child when they are in their 20s, in their 30s. Who's going to, are they going to ask you?
No.
So, as parents, our idea should be that my child should know that this is damaging.
Mhm.
This is damaging my body, this is damaging my mind, and this is damaging my soul. What we can do is, because our children are so aware of all the research on the screens and all, TikTok and whatever the news is going, talk to them about research. Talk to them about articles that this says that, this much screen time has damaged this much.
Mhm.
What are the controls that you can put
Mm.
yourself so that you know that 30 minutes of screen is done for today? They have their own discipline involved. Make sure your child is responsible. That again talks about freedom. My 4-year-old or 5-year-old puts an alarm on Alexa that 30 minutes of TV time. An alarm goes off after 30 minutes. She knows TV time is done and she turns the TV off. That's the freedom that you have given the child.
And
That's self development.
and then again, modeling makes a big difference, right? If we are on screen time
Yes,
endlessly,
yes,
the kids pick up on all that.
yes,
So why
absolutely.
they are going to model our behavior?
And why not we have our TV time together?
Hmm.
so that we are building connection. We are watching the same shows and same cartoons or whatever they like,
Hmm.
but we are at the same time building connections.
Right. Wow. I mean, we've literally scratched the surface of the show.
Yes.
Time has flown just like this, Nida. I think one last question would be, um, how can mothers put boundaries without feeling guilty?
Ah, this this is a very valid question for all the moms and all the women out there. It is hard for us to go without guilt. If you are a working mom, you'll be guilty that you are not giving that time. And if you are a stay-at-home mom, you'll be guilty that you are wasting yourself. So guilt is always there. We feel it.
Hmm.
But again, it's the language that you speak to yourself. No one is telling you. You are the first one telling yourself that I did not do it.
Hmm.
My husband did not tell me that I didn't do it. It's me who's telling myself that I did not do it. So let's change the script this time. Let's change the script. Let's not talk about giving 24 hours to our kids, but let's talk about giving quality time to our kids.
Hmm.
If I am having dinner together with my children, do I have my phone in my hand? That takes away the quality time, because that's a distraction. That's the quality time you can give. When you are driving them to their extracurricular activities, that's the quality time. So let's talk about those good quality time together with your kids, and that takes the guilt out. But again, in this fast moving world, we overplan, we overschedule our kids, and we think that staying at home is so downstream that that doesn't work for us. But let's have those peaceful moments on a couch sitting with a book, that cozy night just making hot chocolate. That's quality time, and that takes the guilt away.
All right, wonderful. Nida, thank you so much for coming on the air with us on Radio Azad and giving us such a wonderful overview of early childhood and early childhood education.
Thank you, Aisha.
Hope
Thank
to
you so
have you
much.
back again soon.
Inshallah.